It's been a great day, and we have more to come. I want you to meet some very special people. Your alumni board works hard for you and for Northwestern. Would you all please stand? Today we have Becky McCrae of Alba, Darla Terry and her husband Mike from Enid, Judy Walgamot from Stillwater, Byron Kane and his wife Karen from Alba, Jennifer Tyree and her sister April Graves from Alba, Mike Martin from Alba, and two new members, Chesney Thomas and Tisha Shipley, both from Alba. Now I'd like you to meet our MC for this evening. Becky Allen McCrae is a 1993 graduate of Northwestern and the president of Northwestern Oklahoma State University Alumni Association. Becky?
Good evening. I'd like to introduce the guests seated at the head table. At my far left, we have Allison Cunningham, senior class president, Kit Wilson from the class of 1987, and Joy Wilson with him. And then we have Rick Cunningham from the class of 1976, and Dr. Janet Cunningham, president of the university, also from the class of 1976. On my far, yes, you may. On my far right, we have Skeeter Bird, CEO of the Northwestern Foundation, class of 1985, and his wife, Raylyn Bird. We have Darren Hedrick, the class of 1983, and his wife, Kathy Hedrick. And then we have Scott Plunkett, class of 1986, and with him, Maikeko Nishimori. And then we have Larry Ritchie, class of 1973, and his wife, Elizabeth Ritchie, class of 1996. We'll begin our evening with the Northwestern Report, which is compiled annually by the Northwestern University Relations Department, including Mr. Steve Valencia, the Associate Vice President for University Relations, along with University Relations Specialist Valerie Case, and Instructional Media Technician Angela Case, and Instructor of Mass Communications Message Schroeder. The 2008-2009 report is presented by the University President, Dr. Janet Cunningham.
Well, thank you and welcome to everyone here today. This has been a fabulous day. We've dodged the bad weather, and I think it may be going south or east or north or someplace other than right here, which is a good thing. As I said, we've had a great day. We've had record numbers of returning graduates from our 70, 60, and 50-year classes, and we've had pinning ceremony and ringing of the bell, and then we've also honored our current graduates in an award ceremony. And as I said, I have the best job in the world, and you're going to see why. We're going to give you a little report of things that have happened on the campus, all of our campuses of Northwestern Oklahoma State University during this last 12 months. So sit back and enjoy.
As I reflect on the 2008-2009 academic year at Northwestern Oklahoma State University, it becomes clear that the past 12 months marked a significant period of growth and progress for your alma mater. One of the great privileges that I have of being president is the opportunity to meet many of our outstanding students who have chosen to become the next generation of leaders, thinkers, doers, and most of all, Rangers. Again this year, more students chose to make Northwestern their college home. Enrollment in the fall semester grew for the second consecutive year as 2,097 students enrolled for classes, an increase of 2.2% from a year ago. Our students come from across the country and across the world. In fact, Northwestern students represent 36 states and 24 foreign countries. Our students from the great state of Oklahoma come from 59 of our 77 counties. Through use of the Internet, Northwestern's recruiting area essentially encompasses the globe. This led the Office of University Relations to launch a redesigned website last fall. The site provides constant, up-to-date information to a growing audience. During the past 12 months, more than 400,000 Internet users visited the university's website. Northwestern also has expanded its presence on the popular social networking sites, Facebook and Twitter. As part of a new effort to reach a growing audience, Northwestern also rolled out updated university logos that incorporate both of the university's colors and its signature Herod Hall and horse and rider graphics. As our student enrollment grows, so must our offering of academic programs. For nearly 2 years, Northwestern sought permission to begin a new program in agriculture education to help alleviate a major shortage of instructors in this field. This year, the Oklahoma State Regents for Higher Education approved Northwestern's request. The program's first classes will begin in August. The agriculture education program has the potential to become a signature program for the university and already has drawn a great deal of support from the public and private sectors, including gifts of endowed faculty chairs from Dawn and Wanda Campbell of Jett, Oklahoma, and the Wisdom Family Foundation of Alva. As part of the program, Northwestern has plans to construct a 4,000 square foot agriculture education center at its university farm southwest of Alva. The cost of the facility is anticipated to be approximately $250,000, and the Wisdom Family Foundation has pledged to match up to $100,000 in private funds raised for the project. Another academic program that has generated much interest is a proposed minor in art. Northwestern closed its art program in the late 1980s, but a renewal in student interest led by the Northwestern Art Society and a gift of an endowed chair from the Wisdom Family Foundation has led Northwestern to give the program new life. A backlog in state matching funding for endowed chairs has placed a temporary hold on the start date of the program, but the university is committed to beginning classes as soon as possible. While the social work program at Northwestern is not new, it is noteworthy that the program concluded nearly 4 years of work by earning national accreditation from the Council of Social Work Education. The program is the third at Northwestern to attain national accreditation. Area high school students and adult students wanting to become nurses can take full advantage of an articulation agreement between Northwestern, Oklahoma State University, and the technology centers from Autry and Enid, High Plains and Woodward, and Northwest Technology Centers in Alva and Fairview. These students are eligible to receive college credit toward a Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree at Northwestern after completing an allied health program at the respective technology centers. This program will help students save time and money in earning their degrees. This past summer, Dr. Mike Needler, our Dean for the School of Arts and Sciences, and I traveled to China for the signing of an educational exchange agreement with CIOS International University. This agreement opens doors for a multitude of educational opportunities, including the exchange of faculty, students, academic information, and materials. It also will allow each university the opportunity to showcase its history and cultural diversity. Northwestern students are proud of their institution and take pride in the fact that for the second consecutive year, Northwestern was rated as Oklahoma's top public regional university in the annual college rankings published by U.S. News and World Report. We also were recognized again by the magazine for producing graduates with one of the lowest debt loads in the western United States. As alumni, you deserve a great deal of the credit for this accomplishment, as your gifts to our many scholarship programs provide nearly $930,000 in much-needed private financial assistance to deserving students. Our students also are willing to give back to our communities. Earlier this month, one of Northwestern's newest student organization, Conserving Our Ranger Environment, or CORE, sponsored the big event, a day of community service. The event was designed as an avenue for Northwestern students and employees to give back to their campus communities and say thank you for all of the support given. Nearly 200 volunteers braved the Oklahoma winds to work on 18 projects, ranging from the demolition of dilapidated structures to yard work. CORE plans to make the big event an annual day of community service.
This is going to be our way to say thank you.
When people come together, anything is possible.
During the past 12 months, the improvement of the university's campuses has been a major focus. In Alva, the renovations of the Science Building and Health and Sports Science Education Building have been completed, and students and faculty have noted the positive changes in the learning and teaching environments. Original construction of the Science Building began in 1962, with classes beginning in the facility in the fall of 1963. The close to $3.6 million renovation focused on the redistribution of classroom space and offices and includes 6 new modern teaching laboratories, along with a new roof, windows, doors, and mechanical and electrical upgrades. The Health and Sports Science Education Building was constructed in 1968 and opened in January of 1969. Renovation of the facility cost $1.4 million and is highlighted by the reclamation of space once occupied by an unused indoor swimming pool. Other improvements include new office and classroom space, a commons area for students, locker rooms for the women's softball and soccer teams, renovation of an existing training room, and the addition of a seminar room. Other improvements on campus include the completion of the 2 signage projects on the north side of campus that are gifts of the family of former Regent Richard Ryerson. The Ryerson family also recently donated funds to the university to establish the Ryerson Family Endowed Chair in Business. In August, Northwestern opened the doors on its new facility in Woodward and formally dedicated the building in September before a large crowd and a live regional television audience. The $3.5 million project provides Northwestern with 20,000 square feet of classroom and office space, along with a student commons area, library, and public meeting space. The facility allows Northwestern to serve a greater number of students from far western Oklahoma at both the undergraduate and graduate levels. A new addition to Northwestern Enid is the construction of a bridge that will provide a physical link between the Enid campuses of Northwestern and Northern Oklahoma College. The bridge was moved to the site from its original location north of the city. The bridge also is a symbol of the Bridge program between Northwestern and NOC. The program was approved in 2007 and helps students who sign up for the program to not only enroll concurrently at both institutions, but transition to Northwestern after completing an associate's degree at Northern. Thanks to the generosity of friends and alumni, Northwestern has begun construction on 2 of its Vision for Victory athletic projects: the construction of a new football and multi-use facility at Ranger Field, and the construction of a new permanent seating area and upgrades at the university's baseball venue. When completed, the projects will provide Northwestern's student athletes and fans some of the finest facilities in small college athletics. The football complex is expected to be completed by the opening game of the 2009 season, while the baseball project is expected to be finished in late fall and in time for the 2010 baseball season. Northwestern students continue to excel in athletic competition, and this year was highlighted by stellar seasons in men's basketball and rodeo. The basketball team returned to the NAIA National Tournament in Kansas City for the second time in 3 seasons after putting together a 20-12 record. The Ranger Rodeo teams are in the midst of their best seasons ever. The women's team currently is in first place in the Central Plains region, while the men's team has a firm grip on second place. Northwestern is poised to send a record number of cowboys and cowgirls to the College National Finals Rodeo later this summer in Casper, Wyoming. As alumni, you have many reasons to be proud of today's students. They work hard, are actively involved in campus life, and share the same sense of pride that you have in Northwestern. One such group is comprised of the mass communications students who serve as the staff of NWTV7, Northwestern's student television station. Under the leadership of instructor Jesse Schroeder, NWTV7 has been transformed into a major news and information source for the campus and community. And through its use of internet media sites such as YouTube, NWTV7's weekly newscasts are available worldwide. Northwestern likes to brag about the personal, hands-on attention its students receive in and out of the classroom. While Northwestern is one of the smallest universities in the state, our students take a back seat to no one. The students of NWTV7 have proven just that. At the Oklahoma Broadcast Education Association's annual conference, NWTV7's live 30-minute newscast was selected as the best in Oklahoma, beating out entries from two of the state's largest universities, the University of Oklahoma and the University of Central Oklahoma.
Broadcasting from the campus of Northwestern Oklahoma State University. Honored by the Oklahoma Broadcast Education Association as the #1 collegiate television newscast in Oklahoma, this is 7 News.
Hello and thank you for choosing 7 News today. I'm Shara Spencer.
And I'm Allison Cunningham. We start out here today with breaking news.
Northwestern theater students are busy preparing for their next production. Coming up on 7 News, the details behind the show that will teach and entertain.
I'm Xingxing Liu, and coming up we'll share with you an issue that is contributing to some college students' weight problems.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
That is going to do it for us this week.
Make sure and tune in next week when we visit with the newly elected SGA officers. We'll see you next time.
The newscast competition is the most highly coveted award given by the association and brings statewide recognition to Northwestern's television station and the mass communications program as a whole. Schroeder said producing the newscast is a team effort and involves behind-the-scenes people such as producers and camera operators, as well as the on-air talent. Northwestern is proud of the work of the students of NWTV and is pleased to introduce them to you. Representing NWTV7, please welcome Jesse Schroeder, Shara Spencer, Xingxing Liu, and Allison Cunningham. Coming from the big city to a small rural university is culture shock for a lot of Northwestern students, but most come to love and appreciate what the community and school have to offer them. This includes Kansas City, Missouri native Chris Johnson. Chris came to Northwestern in 2005, knowing he wanted to major in mass communications. Through the years, he developed his video editing skills at NWTV7 and has used his graphic design skills on a number of posters and publications. Some of these publications include the covers for various sports media guides through his work in the Sports Information Office. He also helps with updates on the athletics website. Chris also has been demonstrating his leadership skills by serving as this year's student government president. Chris has been a member of the Ranger men's basketball team, paying his dues on the bench, working his way up to more playing time for the team. In Chris's 4 years here, he's been a member of 2 Ranger teams that have played in the NAIA National Basketball Tournament, basically in his backyard of Kansas City. He played in both the 2007 Elite 8 appearance and this year's return to the tournament. Chris said that being a part of basketball has helped him to pay for his education, but it also has helped him to meet teammates that he'll stay in touch with for the rest of his life. Being a part of the team has allowed him to travel, but more importantly, to grow as a person. The NAIA's Champions of Character program teaches 5 core values: respect, responsibility, integrity, servant leadership, and sportsmanship. Chris embodies all these values. In fact, Chris was named as Northwestern's recipient of the Champions of Character Award during this year's national tournament. Ranger men's head coach Andrew Brown said, "Chris is a natural leader and has an infectious personality. He represents what I believe a Ranger is all about." Former men's basketball head coach and current athletic director Bob Battisti coached Chris during his first 2 years at Northwestern and had this to say about him. Chris Johnson is a student and athlete who got involved. He attacked and embraced the whole college experience. Chris will look back on his days at Northwestern as an exciting time, not just 4 years of playing basketball. Chris will be graduating from Northwestern on May 9th, but fortunately, it won't be the last that we see of him. He's planning on returning to Northwestern in the fall to begin his master's degree and serve as a graduate assistant coach for the men's basketball team. That small school Ranger pride definitely seems to have rubbed off on him. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chris Johnson. There are many more student accomplishments to tell you about. Northwestern Student Oklahoma Education Association organization was named the state's outstanding chapter for the 2nd year in a row this spring. The group has 45 members and was recognized for its numerous service projects. Other students honored include Jonathan Oswald and Alva Sr., who won first place in the annual Ranger Research Day competition and represented the university in state competition in Oklahoma City. Kevin Kerr, a senior from Conway Springs, Kansas, won a first and second place award in the Oklahoma Society of Professional Journalists competition. And Charlie Burns, a junior from Sayre, along with Alva Senior Lisa Brott, competed in the prestigious Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival. In addition, Annika Rolla, a senior from Chester, was the recipient of a $2,000 graduate school scholarship from Sigma Tau Delta, a National Honor Society in English. As we honor tonight's outstanding graduates, it is clear that a new generation of students is prepared to build upon the legacy of success established by those who went before them. We have so much to be proud of at Northwestern, and I am truly honored to serve as the president of this great university. Northwestern will continue to educate, serve, and lead for years to come. Ride, Rangers, ride.
Reverend Paul Darrell Hardy will lead us in thanks for our meal. Reverend Hardy spent several years in Alma as minister of the First United Methodist Church. And he was named one of Northwestern's outstanding graduates in 1984 in the humanitarian category.
Lord, we need to stop this evening and thank you for this great nation we have and the wonderful opportunities we have in this nation. And one of them is because of this university that has helped so many of us in the past and will help so many in the future. So we give you thanks for this university and for what it does. We thank you for those that are the leaders here and those that help in every way possible to make it better every day. We thank you for the privilege of coming here this evening asking you to be merciful unto us and forgive us of our sins. And bless this food to the intended use of our bodies.
And now the moment you've been waiting for, dinner. Thank you, Dr. Laird. Chartwell's, you got spotted. Chartwell's Food Service has prepared a very nice meal for us. And everyone is having a wonderful time. I think that's the sign of a very successful banquet, when everyone is having a good conversation, enjoying some fellowship, some time together. And I hate to be the one that has to interrupt that, but that's my job, is to bring us back to our program at this time. We do have a welcome from the class of 2009, and we have a special honor tonight because Allison Cunningham is the 2009 senior class president. You saw earlier that she anchors on Northwestern TV and is one of this year's outstanding seniors. And it just so happens that she is the daughter of Rick and Janet Cunningham of Alva, Oklahoma. So ladies and gentlemen, riding with pride and full of Ranger spirit, I present Allison Cunningham.
I am so honored to be here tonight representing and speaking on behalf of the senior class of 2009. In 2 short weeks, we will walk across the stage like so many of you before, receive our diplomas, and end the chapter of our lives, only to begin a new and exciting one. Pastor Edward Mallory once said, "A college degree is not a sign that one is a finished product, but an indication a person is prepared for life." I have to say I completely agree with this statement. I feel confident that the education we have received here at Northwestern has more than prepared us for the next step in our journey. But what is it to be a Northwestern student and a Ranger? Being a Ranger is more than just attending classes on campus. It is an honor. It is the opportunity to receive a quality education and to prepare for a successful career in life. Being a Ranger is the opportunity to be involved on campus and to be more than merely a number for enrollment purposes, but rather a face with a name. I feel so lucky to have attended a school where professors truly care about higher education. But not only that, they sincerely care about the students. It's like the famous phrase from the opening music of the sitcom show Cheers. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and you're always glad they came. To me, that's exactly what this university seems to say. Here at Northwestern, a wave and a "Hi Allison, how are things going?" from a professor or administrator gives me an overwhelming sense of belonging and makes me appreciate the close-knit community that this school has to offer. As I look out into the room tonight, I am humbled to be speaking to so many outstanding Rangers. It's just proof that Northwestern produces students and citizens of such a high caliber. The 3 gentlemen being honored as outstanding alum are examples for my class of the great things that can be accomplished through education. They took what they learned at Northwestern and became great citizens. I hope that I too, years down the road, will exemplify this same level of excellence. During the past 112 years, there have been many remarkable Rangers who have graduated from this university. In 2 weeks, a new class of outstanding Rangers will be graduating with me. And I am confident that there are many more outstanding Rangers to come. I leave you tonight with 3 words that another wonderful Ranger, my mom, has said time and time before: "Ride, Rangers, ride."
Thank you, Allison. Very well said. Our outstanding graduates have each made significant contributions in their respective fields with the education and experience they received at Northwestern. The Alumni Association accepts nominations for these awards all year long and typically selects honorees in early February. Pictures and biographies of this year's outstanding graduates are included in our banquet program. We won't read that for you, but will instead introduce each of them with just a comment or two. Our outstanding graduate in the business professional category has built a successful optometry practice in Texas. His story doesn't end there. This man uses his professional expertise and talent to serve on medical mission trips to Mexico and Haiti. May I present Kent Wilson.
Thank you very much. To quote my 14-year-old son, dude, this is tight. I think that translates, man, this is awesome. And indeed it is, and I'm very grateful to be honored, or I'm very honored to be selected for this recognition. When Elizabeth called me at the office several weeks ago to tell me of the nomination, I was quite shocked, to say the least. In addition to that, though, she's a great representative of this university, very friendly on the phone, and made me feel very welcome, and so I thank you. But I was in shock, but at the same time, I had just floods of memories from Northwestern that kind of just overwhelmed me, and that just continued until tonight, and I would love to share all of those with you, but they've only given me 20 minutes up here, so I can't. No, really, I'm not going to talk that long. Actually, Scott, Dr. Scott, over here paid me to give him some of my time. So I'm going to do that, and you can have as much as you want to. Seriously, when I came to Northwestern, I was a scared, skinny kid from Winoka. And when I left here, I left with lifelong friends and confidence that I was ready for the next step. I left here fully prepared educationally for the challenges that lie ahead. And that is a testament to the great people here at Northwestern. I've had the privilege of sitting at the feet of some really exceptional educators, and many of those were right here at Northwestern. One of those people, I'm going to drop some names, actually just one. He's not here tonight. I wish he were, because I never have gotten to thank him, and I wanted to do that. And so I'm going to do that publicly tonight. If you see him, I think he still lives in LA. He's retired now. But if you see him, tell him you heard about him tonight. And then one of those people was Dr. Kenneth Brown. He was my advisor when I was here at Northwestern, and he helped me stay the course. He helped me graduate within a 4-year period, which I'm grateful for. He taught me a lot while I was here. He was able to teach me chemistry, which was not easy, but he was good at it. He was really good at it. And what really impressed me about him, and he's representative of a lot of the faculty here. What impressed me about him was the fact that he was always looking for ways to better communicate with his students. He was always looking for ways to be more effective in the classroom, and he was very concerned about preparing us for the future. And I think that's a great thing, and that's one of the things that I really love about Northwestern, is the fact that you are a person here is not a number, like Allison mentioned earlier, and that's true. And there's a lot of value in that. I will always be grateful for the dedication that he had and for the dedication of others that I know are here today. The success of this university is not due to the historic buildings and the beautiful towns, but to the dedicated individuals that have chosen to work and study here. And there's some great things that are happening here. I had the privilege today of touring the science building. It's just recently been renovated. And one of those great people was Dr. Pfeiffer Hill, who was gracious enough to give us a personal tour. Wonderful lady, and really enjoyed it. And she's just one of many. And so at this time, I would like to, I don't know if I can do this, but I guess I can. I would like to ask all current and past individuals who are staff or faculty or administrators, support staff of the university, if you would just stand and let us applaud you. If you do that. They say that hindsight is 20/20, and I can honestly say that if I had it to do over again, I would choose Northwestern. Again, I want to thank you for this honor and for this privilege.
Northwestern's outstanding graduate in the humanitarian category is not simply a superintendent of schools. He is a community leader. When Greensburg, Kansas was destroyed by a tornado a few years ago, this superintendent led the way to rebuilding the community and had the vision of creating a better community. Please welcome Darren Hedrick.
Thank you. It's really an honor and privilege to be here this evening, and it's amazing how families say similar things. I mean, your son said something to my wife before we left. She said, "Honey, that's tight," and so I think the years have all grown. One thing that a common theme you're going to hear echoed here a little bit tonight is something that we've really come to appreciate in Greensburg in light of the disaster that we had, and that is, when you take away possessions, houses, cars, furniture, and all the things you accumulate through time, you find that those types of things are very easy to replace. What we really come to appreciate in Greensburg, in our community, and what we really hold really dear to our hearts is the things that really matter most are your acquaintances, they're your family, they're your colleagues, they're the people that you interact with on a daily basis. And what makes a community solid and what makes a university like Northwestern solid is the fact that you all and we all understand the importance of people and the role people play in one another's lives. We value those relationships so much more than we need to value the material things. And I really came to appreciate that a lot in the past. I'm really thankful for being a student here. It's always nice to be able to go out and when people ask where do you go to college, it's nice to say Northwestern State University and know that it's somewhere you can be proud of. And I've always been proud of being a graduate here, and I would encourage anyone that asks, is that a good school to go to? Absolutely. It's an awesome school to go to. There's some people I'd like to thank real quickly tonight. My parents are here, and my dad was a 1961 graduate of Northwestern, Oklahoma, and played football down there way back when. I graduated in '83. And my wife is a 2005 graduate of graduate school here. So we have some ties to Alba in the area. And we're really pleased to be here. I'm really thankful for the work and appreciate everything. If you ever get a chance to come through, we're doing some amazing things. We're building a sustainable community. We're building a green community. We're rebuilding something that took hundreds of years to build. It was taken away in one evening, and we're attempting to put that together. We're in the middle of a school rebuilding project. We're extremely proud of what's taking place. We're going to build a LEED certified platinum building. We're in the middle of a $52 million construction, hope to be done in another 12 months. It's exciting times, great things are happening, and I really do appreciate your time this evening. Thank you so much for this honor. I appreciate it. Thank you.
This year's outstanding graduate in the education category is not confined to educating the students in his classrooms at California State University, Northridge. He also educates those who attend the World Congresses. I am pleased to introduce Scott Plunkett.
I have a lot of things to be thankful here at Northwestern. Actually, I learned how to kiss here. My girlfriend, who sat over here, is also very thankful to Northwestern for that experience I had. And Kim, I think we actually kissed the same girl. I'm almost positive that's the case. Can't friends here. Actually, he reminded me of you, his sister, because I learned not to drink your bath water. That's an inside joke for but anyway, also in this very room, it was the very first time I danced. And for anybody who knows me, you know that that's a pretty impressive deal, because I pretty much sucked at it back then. Anyway, I'm not saying I'm any better, but still, right here in this room, Raylan Dooley, I might add. Yeah, thank you. So I came here going to be an engineer major, and then I changed to computer science, and I changed to math. And seriously, that was my first semester. No lie. Second semester, I actually had Dr. Keith Sawyer in the psychology class. You know, he's kind of a suave, cool guy, and all the girls were swooning over this guy. It was right then that my life changed. Anyway, I decided to become a psychology major and become a university professor. That's actually a true story. And I was so excited about all the girls in psychology that by the end of my junior year, I finished all my coursework and I didn't know what to do. And so I was actually doing some volunteer work at the Alva High School, via the same girl that Kent and I kissed. And anyway, so I ended up double majoring and getting a degree in speech. I saw one of my esteemed professors right back there, Dr. Barton. And so that was pretty exciting stuff. And also Doc Stewart is one of the key people who helped me learn how to perform a little bit, because prior to being on stage at Northwestern, I had not had any experience being in front of people. And so that was kind of a life-changing event. And then I did actually my student teaching with Charlene Brock. And I know that that's not necessarily Northwestern per se, but see, in my mind, when I think about NWOSU, I still think about Alva. And I know that Northwestern has Northwestern Enid and Northwestern Woodward, and who knows, probably Northwestern, wherever, Bison, Oklahoma, I don't know. But truly, I still think of Alva and Northwestern as being almost synonymous for me, and that's kind of the memories that I have. And so many of those are tied in together because of my experiences at Alva and at Northwestern. That's where I learned to volunteer, which is a big part of my life. I actually started, like I say, volunteering in the high school, and then I did some other volunteer endeavors here, and that's kind of carried through. And had I not been at Northwestern, I may never have had that experience. The other thing is I got an extended family here. Actually, they're kind of sitting right in this area. But besides student teaching with Charlene, I also then started farming with her dad and her husband, and then got adopted by Charlene's mother, Twanda. So, Twanda, Leslie, Myra, and Charlene, thank you very much. And two of my very dear friends have never left Northwestern, so Angela and Valerie, who are, what's Angela sitting at? Oh, hey, Angela's back there, so here somewhere. And so when I think about Northwestern, you know, I think about these friends, and I've luckily run into quite a few of them, Cheryl and Steve, and David. I don't know where David actually set out, but and quite a few of you, and I think that that's the part of me that I really hold dear. I know that I got some good mentoring and some good exposure from some of the faculty here. I learned how to be funny in class from Dr. James Watley, and also from this guy named, I cannot think of his first name, Doc, who was a political science teacher, who was probably the funniest guy I ever knew. Anyway, he liked to say marijuana a lot, but he didn't smoke. He just liked to say the word. But it always made me laugh. And so now I say marijuana a lot. I don't smoke it either, but I like to say the word because it makes my students laugh in the context that he does it. But truly, I came here as a little nerd. I think Kent, you said he came here as a skinny little guy. I came here as a nerd. For anybody who knows me, Northwestern, I never quite got rid of that reputation as a nerd. My first girlfriend called me that cute little nerd, and sadly, my current girlfriend, hopefully my last, is still calling me a cute little nerd. But I'm optimistic that one of these days that I'll mature a little bit more and move up and meet big boy camps and not be a nerd anymore. But anyway, but thank you all for the opportunity to be here. Thank you for the word. I'm very, very excited, very honored. And I really look forward to coming back to Northwestern again and try to get back to our home country as much as possible. Anyway, thank you all. Bye-bye.
just a few more minutes this evening, I would like to recognize all of our past outstanding graduates in attendance tonight. So if you would stand as I call your names. We have Johnny Barton and his wife Margaret from Alba, Reverend Paul Darrell Hardy and his wife Winona from Oklahoma City, Karen Kane and her husband Byron, Dr. Milt Lear and his wife Becky from Alba, Mark Norman and his wife Sherry from Piedmont, Bob Renault and his guest Lorraine Malzahn, Dr. Merrill Schnitzer and his wife Winona from Bartlesville, Jaden Voorhees and his wife Jackie of Bella Vista, Arkansas, Dr. Dennis Wiggin and his wife Janet from Edmond, and Betsy Zadarozny and her husband Alan from Cedarvale, Kansas. It's nice to meet you. This has been a bannered year for our honored classes. We had 5 of our 70-year class here this afternoon for the pinning ceremony. Anybody with the class of 1939, if you would like to wave at the crowd or stand up, there's Iowa. They were just amazing. And the class of 1949, would you please stand? And I believe this is the largest 50-year class we've had in some years, so 1959, if you would stand. We also recognized our 25-year graduates. If the class of 1984 would stand, please. And how about meeting our class of 2009? We have several of those here tonight that received awards. Would all of you stand, please? Skeeter Bird is the Chief Executive Officer of the Northwestern Foundation and Alumni Association. He is a 1985 graduate whose passion for Northwestern is exemplified not only by his Ranger spirit, but also by the energy he brings to his position.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Excuse me. Before I introduce the senior staff, I'd like to try to share a couple thoughts with you. A lot of folks don't understand the difference between the Alumni Association and the Foundation. With the class of 1959, would you please stand again? I'd like for you to see how many people came back for this. Please stand. Please give them another round of applause. I got to meet some of these folks last night at Champs, and they were out together having a good time and talking about their existence and their fun times at Northwestern. And they are wonderful people. That's what the Alumni Association does for us. They bring you back, they reconnect you, and they keep you involved with your university. And Elizabeth Ritchie does that very well. Can you please do it? Now, there's something extraordinary about 1959 for the Foundation, because that was the first year the Foundation formed. On May 8, 1959, the state of Oklahoma stated that this corporation is formed for charitable, benevolent, religious, educational, and scientific purposes and has no stated capital. What that means is for the last 50 years, people like yourself have been investing in students and giving them a positive education and positive experience here at Northwestern. And we like to emphasize invest. It's not about giving, it's about investing. We want you to invest your time, your money, and your spirit and your passion with the university. Those generous gifts have made 1,000 lives different and better. Our mission statement of the Foundation is bonding donors' passions with Northwestern success. And because you get back to your alma mater, you're investing in the education of another person, and that can never be taken away from them. So I'd like to ask you, if you haven't already done so, consider investing in Northwestern in an area that touches your passion. Now, I want to introduce some of the folks that once you decide to give, if and when you give, they're going to be the stewards of those financial resources. Of course, our president, Dr. Janet Cunningham, and her husband Rick, already met. Dr. Steve Lohman and his wife Kim. Steve, please stand up, Steve. David Pecky, Vice President for Administration. Dr. Cheryl Evans and her husband Tom. She's the Dean of the Enid campus. Dr. Dina Fisher and her husband Tom from the Woodward campus. And she's the Dean. Did I say that? Okay. Brad Franz. And there he is. Is Lisa here? Okay. Vice President for Student Affairs and Enrollment Management, Dr. James Bowen and his wife Jane. He's the Dean of School of Professional Studies, Dr. Mike Needler. There he is, Mike. Okay, and Regina, his wife. He's the Dean of School of Arts and Sciences. Steve Valencia, Associate Vice President for University Relations. Is Janet here? Okay, she's here too. Bob Battisti, his wife Shelley, Athletic Director. Please give these folks a round of applause. These are the folks I get the privilege to work with every day as part of the senior staff, and I mean that it is the best team I've ever worked with in my life. And I spent 20 years in the military working for some very good teams, and understand that means a lot to me. We have some foundation trustees, and they're a big part of running the foundation and making things happen. Bill Bixler, his wife Charlene from Winoka. I saw Bill earlier. Bill, please stand up. And Donovan Reichenberger from Alba. These are folks that have stepped up and given, and also encourage others to give around them, and it's a huge pleasure and a privilege to work with those as well. Did I miss anybody in the foundation trustees?
And now I bet you'd like to hear from a member of the class of 1959. Jim Bradley has a few words for you.
Thank you. With apologies to Minnie Pearl, I'm just as proud to be here. And Skeeter, CEO. When did that happen? No, seriously. I was asked to say a few words, as it says in your program, about the Ranger, and eventually about another program that has to do with a lectureship. When I first saw the Marquette, now they didn't bring one over here tonight to show off, but it's about this tall, little statue like the horse out there on the corner. I couldn't figure out what that meant. Marquette. And it says it's a prototype when I went to look it up. But I don't think what I got is a prototype. I think it's a miniature of the finished copy. And they made 3 of these, life-size, quarter-size, one for each of the campuses, and I understand in addition to the one here, the one at Enid is installed on its base, and the one in Woodward soon to be. They made 110 of these Marquettes. There's 12 inches high. And they're sold in numbered editions. By me buying one, the one I bought, I was able to get it with the number for the class year. Proceeds benefit the university. $2,500 is the cost. $1,500 of that approximately is tax deductible. $1,000 due at the sign-up time, $1,500, then the remainder of $1,500 is due at delivery. I own one of these. It sits in my house, proudly displayed in the entry. It serves to remind me of this school and the good times. And by the way, Karen, did you notice that, I think it must have been Skeeter that did it, after being out at the Champs last night, he came back and told Elizabeth, so you've got to separate those guys. Marvin's over there, J.N.'s over here, I'm over there, and Kendall's someplace else. We were having a good time. We closed the place. But anyway, that's some of the good times we were reminiscing about. It reminds me of my heritage. It reminds me of Northwestern and allowed me to support the school and the scholarships and other university support that comes through the foundation. And when I read that the U.S. News and World Report had singled out Northwestern as a place where education can be gained at minimum cost and very little debt, I thought, that's what that Ranger's all about. And so I'm here to tell you, if you can do it, buy one. It goes to a good cause. And with that said, last fall, I didn't have enough to do, so I'm sitting around thinking. And my wife said, "What's that noise?" And what I'm about to say has to do with Class of 59, but it's not limited to the Class of 59. As a class, and I don't know that many classes have ever done this, but in some schools, and I believe here, a class at some point leaves a memorial reminder of when they graduate. Our class did not do that. I'm proposing that the Class of 59 do that now. I envision an endowment that would provide a lecture series. This series would provide the opportunity for current students to benefit from lectures presented by members of the current and that are in current and prominent stature. They could be world, national, state, local citizens, be persons from politics, science, medicine, president of a major company, military leader, college, university president, or faculty member. I know that I have a different outlook about these things now than I did 50 years ago. But I also feel that today's student has much better appreciation and need for that kind of interchange. And here's an opportunity to bring this home. Especially those that coincide, my thoughts, those that coincide with the topic of semester's classes. These students would maybe even have a special time in the class once a speaker was chosen. The class would kind of study up on that topic so that if nothing else, they could possibly ask a good question of the speaker. The result would be a much more well-rounded student that graduates from this university. So class, we have an opportunity here to bring something very useful to Northwestern, but we can't do it alone. It would be a lasting legacy, generations to come, something useful to the education process would be provided. As of right now, we're having humble beginnings. In the time since you got the first letter, we have $2,600. I believe it would take approximately $10,000 to start and find a speaker and be able to afford the stipend of whatever it would take to get a speaker here. So that's where we're at. We can't do it alone. We've got to branch out. My thoughts are that this this legacy, this endowment is going to have to be sustained. So contributions from people other than class of 59, corporate and local citizens even, contributions would be welcome. The public would be invited to attend. We would sell tickets, say an annual subscription to the lecture series. We'll say $400, maybe less. And if with that you would get a ticket that would allow you to sit in on this lecture. It would also enhance the financial base and help this grow. And by the way, when this endowment would reach $25,000, the state of Oklahoma Board of Regents will match that. So then automatically you jump to 50. So from humble beginnings, we're a long ways from that, but surely we can make it. After the lecture series the speaker would be invited to a media period, answer questions, and then there would be a luncheon, a salad luncheon of some amount that some of these patrons of the lecture series would be able to attend, and the speaker again would be asked to make a few remarks over the luncheon. So that's my report under the Ranger title. So thank you.
Thank you, Jim. An event of this nature is no small feat. It could not be possible without the incredible and devoted support of the Foundation and alumni staff. Misty Knopf is our financial manager. Misty, please stand. Kelly Burgraff is our office manager, and Tim Lauderdale is our marketing and communications manager. I am so grateful to each of you. They are dedicated and they are amazing Rangers. You've all met some of our students this afternoon. They've been wonderful assistants in many areas. Each one of them is a Northwestern Scholar Ambassador. When I call your names, please stand. Shara Benson, Allison Cunningham, Vince Lauderdale, Shaika Matzima, Amanda Moyer, Stephanie Overton, Jake Phillips, and Jenna Seiler. Thank you very much.
I have the privilege of conducting one of the more boring sections of this. We need to do an election of officers. This serves as the annual meeting for the Alumni Association, and we do need to take care of election of officers. On page 8 in your program, there are the slate of nominees for the 2009-2010 academic year. And those nominated for office are Jennifer Tyree for president. Jennifer, would you please stand? Karen Payne for president-elect. Byron Kane for vice president. Judy Walgamot, recording secretary. And Elizabeth Ritchie serves as our secretary-treasurer. You may be seated. Those nominated for the class of 2012, who will serve on the board until the term of 2012, are Mike Martin, Karen Payne, and Chesney Thomas. The cheerleading representative is Tisha Shipley. Now, at this point, are there any nominations from the floor? Would anyone like to jump onto the board at this time? Hearing none, the nominations are closed. If we could just have a quick motion. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. The motion carries. Congratulations, new officers. That's called a railroad. And it is always difficult for us on the alumni board when we have to say goodbye to a board member that has served us for a great period of time. And we would like to recognize Mary Martinez Hemingway, who has served for 6 years. 6 full years with the alumni board. She's finished her term. She could not be with us tonight, but we are very pleased to have had Mary's contribution on the board. And then it's also, you may have noticed my name was not in the list of officers, for which I am very glad, and I think that you wanted to say something about that. All right.
We also want to honor Becky tonight. She has been our president of the Northwestern Alumni Association for the past 3 years and has done a fine, fine job. Becky will remain on the alumni board as the alumni band representative, so they are a big group and getting bigger all the time. I have a plaque for you, Becky.
I have been president of, this is the first time I ever got one of the little plaques with the little gavel, so I'm excited about it. And I do want to say, yes. Last minute instructions here. As my last official duties as president, I need to remind you all that the membership in the Alumni Association is open. If you are not already a member, the rate is quite reasonable. It's $25. It's $25 a year to be a member of the Alumni Association of Northwestern, and I encourage you to do so. I believe we have some brochures in the back of the room next to the Ranger, and so that is available for you. We'd also like you to fill out a connection card. There are red connection cards, I believe, on each table. If you would just fill one of those out so that we are sure we have your correct address, so that we can let you know about wonderful things that are going on. And then we're going to close with the alma mater. I do have one personal remark to make, which is I have served as your president for 3 years, and I have had a blast being president of this organization. You can't help but have fun when you're president of an organization whose motto is build relationships and have fun. So we've had a terrific time, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to be your president. We're going to close with our alma mater. Ms. Ryan Weidner, class of 2009, is going to lead us in the alma mater. When we finish with that, if you would give us a moment to take some pictures with our outstanding graduates, and you can also take a look at that time at the maquettes and prints of the Ranger, or just enjoy conversation, which is the whole point of having fun at this group. Ryan, if you'll come forward. The alma mater words, if you don't remember your alma mater words, they are printed on the back of your program.